Good evening, everyone. My name is Anne Logan, and this is the IReadThis.com YouTube channel. Today, I am going to be reviewing Chuck Palahniuk's memoir, Consider This: Moments in My Writing Life After Which Everything Was Different. This book came out almost a year ago, January 2020, and I'm just getting to it now. But basically it's a really quick read, and it's all about specifically his writing career. So it's not so much a memoir. He doesn't talk about his childhood or his personal life. It's about his journey to becoming an author, and even then it's just snippets. He doesn't, give the whole arc of his life of becoming an author. He just gives us kind of glimpses into his life as an author. And interspersed with that is writing advice. And that seems like kind of the point of the book, is to read this and get a sense of how you too can write like Chuck, or just be a good writer. Chuck is a very kind of strange person, I suppose you could say. I had the pleasure of meeting him back in 2010, I think, when he was touring for his book Tell All. And he talks a lot about his tours in this book, which are really fascinating because if you've been to one of his events, they're typically very zany. A lot of event organizers compare it to putting on a concert. His fans are really well known for being sort of cultish, and he is also well known for signing every single book and being at the venue for hours and hours just to make sure that he gets to talk to each one of his fans. When I organized his event, and he talks about this a lot in his book, is something that he does is he ships boxes to the venue beforehand, and it says on them, do not open until event day, and Chuck himself comes to open them. And basically when he did that for our event, it was a bunch of blow up items that we all then had to blow up that day as a staff. And then he throws these items out to the crowd, sort of as an interactive element. And he talks in this book about kind of why he does that and what first prompted it and some of the issues that have come up in the past. And some of these issues are really quite funny. He tells stories about just what's happened to him, fans that he's met, crazy stories that other people have told him. So there's a lot of very specific glimpses into his life as a famous author. But if you're looking for dirt on Chuck, you're not going to get it in this book. And the writing advice, I'm not a writer, but I write a bit of nonfiction, and this book is specifically for people who want to write fiction. He has some really clear and straightforward advice. So I marked this quote down. He says, "To create a story in which the reader never thinks to criticize the characters, kill the mother or father before the first page." So he does this really succinctly, is he'll give you little tips on this is how you create empathy for someone, or this is how you keep the narrative moving along. And he also has little quotes. I'll see if I can show you an example. He has quotes from other authors that he's kind of stylized into a kind of tattoo, which seems odd, but if you are a fan of Chuck's books, and if you've met him in person, you'll know that a writer's quote in the form of a tattoo is very on brand for him. I should mention, if you aren't familiar with Chuck Palahniuk, he's most well known for his first book, which is Fight Club, which was made into this movie with the same name starring Brad Pitt, which became this breakout hit. So he's done well for himself, I think you could say. His writing isn't for everyone. It's certainly it's an acquired taste, let's say. He writes a lot about really dark subjects, violence, porn, that sort of thing. So not a lot of people, some people may not know about him and may not be aware of him, but the people that do know about Chuck are like rabid fans, and he talks about them in this book, and how far they'll go to like meet him and talk to him. So this book is written kind of with his trademark humor, and that's one thing that I really enjoyed reading it. He also has a really interesting tip on how to avoid your work being like pirated and finding any illegal versions of your work on the internet. So for that reason alone, I think this is a really important read for writers who are just starting out, or writers who are maybe midway in their career and want to get advice from another famous writer, because he is very honest in this book. I think my only criticism of this would be it's a bit disorganized in terms of like, the advice that he gives. It's interspersed with personal anecdotes, but it's sort of hard to follow or understand kind of why he talks about this versus this. So he kind of picks and chooses his advice, and it's not necessarily like logical for the reader. But it was still entertaining, and like I didn't read this book for the writing advice. I just read it because I was curious and I liked it. So if you're a fan of his writing, you're gonna like this book. If you have never read a Chuck Palahniuk book, read his fiction or short fiction first before you dive into something like this. Also, I wanted to mention that I am going to be running a contest very soon. Because today, Hingston and Olsen, the Edmonton publisher, just announced the 2020 version of their short story advent calendar, and this is the last year they're going to do it, which is such a bummer. I saved my 2019 calendar because I'm going to give it away in a contest. Check out, I think it's going to be on my Instagram. So I'll link to my Instagram profile below, and you can log on there to follow me and enter to win this. I'll probably leave it open to all of North America, so I am willing to send this down to the southern states if I have to. So keep your eye out for that. And then in December, I'll be making my short story advent calendar videos. I won't do one every day because I just don't have time anymore, but I'll try to do one every few days, or at least on the weekends, to just touch base and let you guys know how it's all going. And I'll find some sort of chocolate advent calendar to do it with as well. I hope you guys are all doing okay and hanging in there. Just get lost in a good book. That's my strategy, and that's my coping mechanism for everything these days, and it seems to be working really well. So thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye!